Hello everyone and welcome once again to another program of Prime Time, and today we are switching gears a little bit. We are moving over to the French side and we'll be talking about somebody who's very important. He represents both French, St. Martin and St. Bart's in France, and he's also a representative there. He's going to be talking a little bit about the challenges of doing that and how he balances his personal life. So stay tuned and we'll be right back, for this is Prime Time.
At Nagico, the things that matter to you matter to us. Like knowing you're fully covered after an accident, the security of your home and everything in it that means so much to you. And knowing that even when the weather does its worst, you and your family are covered. At Nagico, we're about much more than just insurance. We're about the big things and the small things that mean everything.
At SXM, we're taking travel and tourism to new heights. Here we boast spacious check-in areas, 10 passport control points, comfortable departure lounges, and an exciting new airport mall. Finally, there's an airport in the Caribbean that takes your travel plans as seriously as you do. Princess Juliana International Airport.
As I mentioned in my opening, today we are switching a little bit on the French side and French side politics. How politics works on the French side and the challenges that's facing politicians. So we are talking today to a member of parliament. He's also island councillor and he's a leader of opposition, and he's my good friend, member of parliament Daniel Gibbs. Thank you very much for joining us on the program.
Good evening, Beverly, and thank you for having me here tonight.
Wow. You said the first time you came was 2001?
Yes, correct.
Oh my God. And then you've been on other times, but it has been so long because the program is almost 30 years old. So, but it's really nice to have you in a different capacity. Now you are a member of parliament, you're an island council member, and you're in opposition. So how would you describe your life right now after I've mentioned all these different titles that you are using or wearing?
Well, things came very quick, and it was pretty much challenging to have all these positions. But as you mentioned, it started with the mayor at Beverly in 2001 when I was deputy mayor at that time. And today, as you say, MP, but in between they had the collectivité, vice president, first vice president of the collectivité, and today, as you said, MP. Well, you know, as you go forward, you try to put things in order and you do what you need to do. And of course, it's challenging because you have to be at the same time in Paris, and on the other hand, you need to be also in St. Martin for the Island Council meetings that we have also here. So I try to share between both. There's a lot of trips to Paris and back to St. Martin, but on the date of today, things are pretty good on that side.
Oh, great. And as we were talking just before the program, you said there are 477 members of parliament in France, and you're one of them. How do you balance that? Are you lost? Because there you were the lone guy, you know, trying, as in the wilderness, as we would say, trying to represent St. Martin and St. Bart's.
Well, not so lonely, because you see, there's 477, but there are different parties. You have the right wing, you have the left wing, you have, which are the socialists, which is the majority, you have the green, and then you have the extreme. So it's 4 or 5 groups sitting in parliament, and I'm part of the UMP group. And I'm one among the 200 and something that represent UMP. So actually, I'm the only overseas MP and my personal group. So I get a lot of I would say airtime to express myself, and
because you don't live there full time.
Yes, and then you know being the only the only representative for the overseas. I get the opportunity of being able to express myself more often than what it would be if it was many of us.
So you were saying that you have to travel back and forth?
Yes. I think I count 18 trips back and forth for the year. That was one of the records.
And so when you go to Paris, how do you get your work done? Because here now you have your assistant who works with you. Do you have that kind of a privilege when you're in France?
Yes, of course. The setting gives us 2, sometimes 3 assistants to be able to help us on the work we have in Paris. Actually, I have 2 of them officially, and we work in pretty close relation also with St. Martin, because the Member of Parliament is Member of Parliament for the entire France, but we are there also to not only to defend the laws that would be applied on the territory of France, but also defending our territories so that there's no negative consequences, whether it's in St. Bart's or whether it's in St. Martin. So we need all the help that we can get.
So your role is pretty important, huh?
Yes. It's a lot of lobbying also, because it is going to ministries, it is lobbying to different offices, with its fiscality concerns, health concerns. You need to lobby a lot, and that's the way you get things going forward. And there's no recipe that we would give you to say this is the way to go and this is the route to follow. It is a little bit what you think, how you feel it, and how you integrate yourself, and I think that's what it's about, because I work with everyone. I work with the socialists that are in power.
That's the key to it, right?
Yes, I mean, I keep my convictions. I know what side I am on. I know where I want to go, and I try to work with those that are in power in order to get things fixed the way we want them for St. Martin. And that's the way we do also between colleagues in Parliament. And sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes with the ministers, there's some little political issues.
Of course, yes.
But most of the times, things happen behind the screen than in front of the screen.
I understand that. That's only networking that's going on.
Of course.
And so what you are tabling, which bill? You're doing the bill, some bills right now, bill of cooperation, you said?
Yes, actually I already have a couple of them, but the latest bill was the cooperation bill that was signed recently, and now I'm working on St. Bart's bill for their organic law, where they're having a modification, and I'll be carrying that bill.
Okay, we'll take a break, and then when we come back, we'll talk a little bit, because we know that your real profession, you're notary, you studied a lot of, you studied that in France. How does it help you in the position that you're in today?
Well,
stay tuned there. We'll be right back after this short break. Stay tuned.
A cruise is a great adventure, not only for passengers, also for us. The Port of St. Martin. Our port always reflected the needs and aspirations of the time. From the first to the 1.75 millionth passenger in 2013. Our cruise story started in 1963 with our first cruise passenger. 50 great years later, 20 million passengers later, thousands of cruise berths later, we've become the leading port in the Caribbean. 50 fantastic years. Like a dream. The dream of Port St. Martin lives on and reinvents itself every day. The best is yet to come.
Travel Planners, an award-winning agency on St. Martin with a well-trained, knowledgeable and friendly staff dedicated to making your travel arrangements hassle-free. We can book your airline, car, cruise and hotel reservations to anywhere in the world. Visit our offices or log on to our website and take advantage of our special packages to the Dominican Republic and Puerto Rico. Travel Planners, voted best travel agency on St. Martin.
Welcome back and thank you very much for joining us. This is Prime Time, and today we are highlighting the French side and the Member of Parliament. He's an Island Council member and he's the leader in the opposition. He travels back and forth between France and St. Martin. He represents both St. Bart's and St. Martin in the Parliament in France. And so this is Member of Parliament Daniel Gibbs joining us today, and to give us a little insight and a little taste about politics on the French side. And so before we took a break, I was asking you, because I know that you are a notary by profession, how does this help you? Is it a good thing? Because especially if, depending on the committees or the commissions you say that you belong to.
Yes, because when you're in Parliament, there are 7 commissions. And the 2 most important is finance and laws.
Right.
And because of my profession, I'm actually the only notary sitting in Parliament between the 477.
You're the only notary?
Yeah, I'm the only notary. Okay. There's one other, it's a clerk, and I'm the only notary. Most of them are lawyers, they're judge, ex-judges and stuff like that, but I'm the only notary. So I was put in Commission of Law, which was for a first mandate in Paris, was pretty much challenging, and it's okay. I mean, I'm fitting the situation, as they say, and it's good because in Commission of Law you see everything. You see all the bills that pass, whether it's environmental, whether it's economical, whether it's even financial. And during my first mandate, I was the speaker for the Overseas Department budget.
Okay.
Yeah.
You were, right. So you have
I was putting in the hot seat immediately. I had no other choice.
No time to settle in.
No. So sometimes it's the best thing.
Yeah, just throw you in.
Yes, that's how you learn. And I had a political motivator, I would say, who gave me that experience when I first got in politics, and you know who that person is. That's the Mayor Albert Fleming. And that's what he did also when he brought me in politics. Just throw
you in the deep, and you had to swim.
And I had to swim and catch a boat.
So let's talk a little bit about your local, your political career locally, and what are your aspirations? So right now you're in opposition, and nobody likes to sit on the opposition bench.
No, that's a fact.
Right. So what are your thoughts?
That's a fact. I mean, it's difficult because it's quite frustrating in the sense that there are things that you see that you would done differently, and you can't because you are opposition and you have a majority, and you have to respect that. But it's also it was also challenging because it showed me another aspect of how you manage things. And you have to be able also, not only when you're in majority, but when you're in opposition, to be able to carry your voice and carry your vision. And I'm not that unsatisfied because most of the thing I was saying in 2012 during the campaign, I'm seeing them coming through. Not to go through the whole process, but we talk about a waterfront project.
Right, let's talk a little bit about that.
Which was the main project that I had for the French side. And I see today the collectivity, which had a free zone as priority, put that aside to focus on the waterfront project. Which I say, Beverly, I criticize the fact that we wait that you get inside of government to say, well, finally this was a good project. But at the time in 2012 when we were campaigning, it was too big. This was not the right fitting for St. Martin. But today it is, because as I brought it out, as they are working on it and putting in place the way I said it. So I must be satisfied to see that this is happening today. And as a position,
you champion this.
I champion that, and with the help, of course, of all the civil servants and all the administration and all my colleagues that work with me on that project. But it's a good thing. I think this is the future, and this is the direction we have to go in order to promote economical development. Furthermore, there are other things, because locally you need to reshuffle your fiscality. There's no economical development if you won't have any fiscality, and that's one of the challenging, I would say, files that I'm working on since 2012, even before. And that one is not taken in consideration by our actual government. But there's again 2 years. I will keep pushing on that one, so that one day probably we will get to that point. I actually said also that we need to work on something for our locals. I mean, you know that I come from the notary sector. You know that I see a lot of families that are struggling with their succession fees and the cost of dealing with their succession matters. So I did propose a bill in order to enlighten, I would say, reducing the cost, and not only reducing, exempting the families of their succession fees for developing their properties, for getting out of the problems that they have for all these years. And that happened. So I was quite proud to see that bill went through, and that is important, not personal on a personal base, but for my population.
What's your take on the climate on our island, the island of the French side, with reference to the youths, with reference to the fiscal or lack thereof? Sometimes, you know, you make a comment, people make a comment that Marigot now has become like a ghost town.
Yes. It hasn't
it's
become.
It's a touchy subject.
It is a fact that you cannot exclude. We have been going through major difficulties, and again, you cannot develop your country if you do not have projects for your country, no matter what project it is. But you need to have a constant motivation. You need to create jobs, and you don't create jobs just by clicking on your fingers. There's two ways of creating jobs. Either you, as government, you have the financial means to be able to promote jobs by promoting projects. Either you don't have the financial means and you need to go and seek the private investors in order to invest in your country. But for your investors, or for investors to come to your country, you need to have something to give them.
Exactly.
And that's a fiscal aspect. I call it fiscally sexy. And that's how you get to bring in private investors. So it's not a choice of saying, I prefer private investors than invest in myself. No, I take private investors because I do not have the financial means to do what I have to do to develop my country. And when I look at the Dutch side and when I look at the French side, I see there's two, I would say, drastic differences between the way they manage. On the Dutch side, you are very much more business oriented, and that shows why a development is so improving on this side of the island. And this is where we should go in order to promote more economical development.
We hope that the government at hand will really take it seriously, because you see, we have all our youths coming out of school or dropping out of school, and they seem to have no future, no vision. So I think it's a very, very serious matter. And I think bringing in more gendarmes is not really the idea. We need to get opportunities for youth.
I think that we really need to work on an aspect that's very important, which is cooperation. And when I say it, Beverly, I'm not saying it another way of saying cooperation. I'm really saying a different way of saying cooperation. And that's why I propose to have a united French and Dutch Congress, so that we can have all our politicians that will be sitting in that Congress and not having just two persons, the Prime Minister and the President of the French collectivity, signing memorandum of understanding. We need to have a full body that will be able to create, I would say, documents that would be government sealed, that would be documents that would be giving full authority of, we say in French, deliberations.
Right.
And that puts a difference with memorandum of understanding documents that we sign each year on the 11th of November.
Okay, we'll take a break and then we come back. I don't know how you do this, because as you said, you have a wife and you have two kids, a 6-year-old and a 9-year-old. How do you balance that? Because it seems as if you have a lot of time in France traveling back and forth. So we'll talk a little bit about that, and what do you have ahead? Because we know in the next election is coming around. Are you going to go on a list again and postulate yourself? Stay tuned, and we'll have answers for those in a moment. Stay tuned.
GEBE has been faithfully serving the communities of St. Martin, Saba, and Statia, powering your home and our economy. Come rain or shine, our qualified team of professionals are working hard 24 hours a day to provide you and your family with safe, reliable electricity and water. We use the latest technologies and test our products daily to maintain the highest international standards. Our friendly staff is always there to assist you, whether in person, over the phone, or online. We are committed to constantly improving our products and services, making them more efficient, effective, and environmentally friendly to serve you better today and our next generation of clients tomorrow. GEBE, powering a brighter future.
The Daily Herald is my first source for up-to-date information and news. Putting together this program of prime time requires research and knowledge of current events. For local news, regional and international news, do read the Daily Herald. So in the last segment I was asking before we took a break if you would postulate yourself on a list, and correction is you are the list actually. You are the party Union for Democracy.
Yes.
And so now you're in the opposition. So
orange and green.
Orange and green, okay. So the correct question would be, would your party postulate itself again for the next election upcoming?
Well, we have a rule. We cross the bridge when the bridge gets in front of us, but our philosophy is to work in order to bring progress for the population. And when I say so, I'm not running from the question. I think in every process, you need to accomplish a certain amount of things. We have been elected to do our work, and I have been elected upon that to do a national work as MP, and that's what I want to fulfill. 2016 will be showing a certain amount of things, and I'm sure that we will have enough time to answer this question. But if your question directly is, would you do whatever it takes for your country? I already proved that by stopping my profession, which is notary, to give myself 100% to my island. And there's nothing that will stop me in the future to go in that direction.
When you look back in retrospect, do you recognize who you are today?
I would leave someone else answer to that
question. Because I know you from very young, going to school, studying. I never ride Carnival, didn't see your direction for this political life that you're in.
Yes.
And so when you really look back in retrospect, what do you tell yourself?
Yeah, I didn't really envision the fact that I wanted to be in politics, to be honest with you. It's only when the Mayor Albert Fleming came to look for me, and I started thinking at that time. Yeah. And I told Albert Fleming, I said, I could be interested in coming and helping you, but I need to do one thing. I need to have my graduation before, so that I have something in my hands.
Of course.
And from that time, then I ran politics. And then things came one after the next. And here I am
just kind
today.
of fell at least.
Yeah.
Is campaigning, is it as hard and rough and tough as it is on the that side, on the friend side? Is it the same kind of energy?
It is different. It is different, but it's the same intensity and energy. And it is, I would say, you can't do that if you don't like it. That's a fact. If you don't like it a little bit, I even say more than a little bit, you definitely don't go in there. Stay out of there, because it's a difficult world. As the mayor say, he threw me in the water, and if I catch the boat, that means the shark wouldn't catch me in the water, and I'll be safe in the boat, then I'll be a politician. But I realized by being in the boat that the shark is not in the water, but the sharks are on ground.
Waiting on you.
Waiting on me. So that point I understand perfectly.
Yeah, I'm sure after your years of experience with that.
But I have my hook.
Yeah, but I hear you. So how do you do this? How you have your wife and you have your two kids, 6 years and 9 years, and so they're not babies anymore. They're growing up, and they know the importance of having dad around and doing your dad duties.
Exactly.
How do you balance this?
Well, it was very difficult at the beginning, but I'm blessed to have the family that I have, the wife that I have, because she permitted me to be abroad a certain amount of times, because we have the kids at home and we have the kids at school, and you have to take care of the kids. And they give me the most important thing that a politician deserves is the support of its family and
stability.
Yes, I get it from my wife, from my kids, but I also get it from my parents.
I don't want to tell you.
Yes, and that's important, because actually we live in the same environment, and with my sister as well.
Right.
And it's a big family at the same time, and the close family, the further family, the friends. I think that once you get that support, things are easier, and I'm blessed to have whatever environment I have around me. They give me that 100%.
That positive
support.
energy.
Yes.
Yeah. How's your dad doing and mom?
They're perfect. Both of them.
Yes.
Getting younger every day.
I hear you. Yeah. Is he traveling a lot? Are they traveling around?
He's traveling. I mean, I have to catch up with him sometime.
I know he's very busy with the Rotary.
The
Rotary.
Exactly.
Yes.
Actually, just came back from Jamaica.
You see? From a Congress. Yeah, and so where you see yourself? Where's your future? What do you see? You see yourself staying in politics all your years, or you'd like to go back to your private practice? What's on the horizon for MP Daniel Gibbs?
Life is a constant challenge moment. And I think, as I say, I take step after step. I do what I'm putting to do now. I do it as best as I can, and I'll see tomorrow what's going to happen. But one thing is sure, I probably will not come back to my previous profession. I'll probably do something else if I start politics. But the way I see things, I got a little feeling that politics will take another couple of years with me.
Yeah, you'll be around for a little while longer.
For sure.
Any wishes, 3 wishes you'd have? What do you wish for, really?
I wish for a better life for our people. I think they really deserve it. We went through some terrible times, difficulties due to economical crisis, and I think that today the population need that bulb of oxygen, and we as politicians, we need to bear that in mind. And whatever we do, whatever we envision, we have to keep this focus. The population is the first preoccupation that we need to have. And if there's one wish out of the 3, this would be the most important. That the population would be proud of their politicians that will bring the answers to their question, but also the answers to their need.
Their needs.
Yes.
Okay, and that word, we'd like to thank you very much. Daniel, this time
Thank
for joining the program. It's been a long time.
I do it a French way,
yes.
so I give a kiss.
So we have to give a kiss.
And I like it on that side because it's 3.
Yes. Thank you so much, and good luck, and God's blessing. All the best.
Thank you, Bev.
Thanks so much for watching. This has been Prime Time. I'll see you next week with more great programs. Stay tuned as we bring you the best programming on the island. See you next week, and may God bless you.